Hi everyone, it's Paul from This Design That. Today we're going to be making an embossing die and also a counter die. And then we're going to do some quick tests to see how it works with debossing paper. First we make the embossing die, and I'm just using the CNC here to cut a shape into some aluminium plate. This is a multi-level embossing die. Each square steps down 0.3 millimeters and the total depth of this die is 1.2 millimeters. Now there are various ways to make the counter die for this. I'm using some glass fibre sheet here and I'm just cutting it to the same size as the embossing plate. Now in order to make sure that the polyurethane sticks to the glass fibre sheet and not to the metal plate, you want to make sure that you rough up the glass fibre sheet using some sandpaper. Now I've found that using some really low grit sandpaper and really roughing it up really does help to make it stick to that glass fibre sheet. It's even more important when you're doing fine details such as small letters, so don't be afraid to really scuff up that glass fibre sheet. I'm using some Embossing Formula 10 as the mould release. Now this works really well with polyurethane and epoxy resins. I'm going to be mixing up some polyurethane, and this is what is going to be used to pour into the embossing die to make the counter die. Once you've got your resin mixed up, it's time to just pour it into the embossing die. You want to make sure if you are doing fine details such as letters that you get maybe like a squeegee and really work it into all of those small corners. For this design I didn't really have to worry too much about it. As I pressed the glass fibre sheet down, it spread out into all of the areas, so it wasn't too much of a problem. Now it's always best to be patient with resins and let it cure fully. I've left this for a good few hours now, and the design is quite simple, so I don't have to worry too much about little tiny bits of resin being broken off as I'm pulling it apart. Next I just need to trim off any excess resin, and then it's time to mount this into my foil press. So as you can see, the embossing die fits perfectly into that counter die. And you can see from these test prints what it's capable of. So this is a multi-level design, so it's kind of like a very, very flat pyramid, and it looks really nice, and there's really no limit to what you can do with this type of embossing. So hopefully that gives you some sort of insight into how to make your own embossing plates. I'm definitely going to be using this in the future for some upcoming designs. But that is it for today. I will catch you all later.